Did you know that most people don't only go to coffee shops just to drink coffee? They go to study, to work remotely, and to hang out with friends. My name is Eunice, and along with Benjamin, Sebastian, Connor, and Maria, we are the Scooter Squad, and today we'll be discussing Scooter's coffee renovation plan. And so to start off, let's go over a brief overview of the project. Scooters is originally known for the efficiency and conveniency of its drive-through locations. And so this was perfect during COVID while people were seeking to quarantine and not be in public spaces. However, being in this post-COVID era, customers are now seeking third places to meet, work, and relax, not just the typical drive-through experience. And so scooters keeping this drive-through only method is missing out on this growing market. And so our goal is to renovate an existing coffee location into Scooter's first ever hybrid model with both the drive-through and sit-down cafe. And so this will address the need for a social work-friendly environment where people can enjoy their coffee as well as be with friends, study, or work remotely. This will allow Scooters to expand its brand relevance post-COVID, and they will be able to capitalize on this growing hybrid cafe trend, and capitalize on that market share. And so by the end of the project, we should be able to deliver a fully renovated retail space with a fully operational drive-through, as well as a welcoming sit-down area. And last but not least, the necessary equipment and technology and staffing for the store to be fully operational. I'll be passing it off to Connor to discuss our WBS.
So as you can see from the WBS, there's five main categories for the renovation. There's the first one is obtaining permits, then to begin the construction and design plans, to set up the interior of the restaurant, the recruiting of staff, and the lastly is to prepare the launch. So we can see from here, there's three main categories, with obtaining the permits being the starters for the main project, beginning structure being the longest part of the project with four major categories of it, and then it leads straight into the interior, the setting up the interior. But as we can see on the next slide, from here, the network diagram shows how the first starter of the critical path is acquiring the permits, the building permit being the longest one. That goes straight into demolishing. After we get all three of those, we can go straight into demolishing any of the current Starbucks paraphernalia. And while this is happening side by side, we're also creating the interior design plan. So by the time that we adjust the exterior to showing the new Scooters logo, we can go straight into the third phase, which is installing furniture. And once we have that phase done, it's a smooth critical path going straight down with no other competing branches. But now we'll go further into this with Maria.
So for the project schedule, we decided to use a Gantt chart to visually communicate the sequence, the duration, and the timing of tasks throughout the Scooter's Coffee renovation. We can see that the project is going to start on May 28th and finish on July 20th of this year, lasting approximately 2 months. It begins with the permit acquisition phase and ends with the grand opening. Some critical milestones include completing the design plans by June 1st, the demolition by June 6th, and the interior setup tasks like lighting and acoustics finishing by July 13th. The staff recruitment runs from June 29th to July 1st, followed by a readiness check and final launch on July 20th. The timeline enabled us effective time management and milestone tracking, allowing the team to manage dependencies, anticipate delays, and maintain accountability. Now, for the resource management plan, we can see that the resources for the Scooters Coffee renovation project focus on prioritization and optimization across the demolition, the construction, the interior setup, and the staff recruitment phase. Responsibilities were assigned to team members along with their tools or materials, ensuring clarity and accountability. In the early phases, task assignments did not overlap, which simplified coordination. Specialized roles like the zoning consultant and the health and safety consultant were one-time resources expenses, helping control long-term costs. As the project went through, some issues emerged, with particularly involving the engineer and the designer's availability. To resolve this, the team reprioritized tasks and reallocated resources to prevent downtime, allowing other work to continue while waiting for key personnel. This response ensured that the project stayed between the timeline and without compromising the quality or the workflow. Now Ben is going to go over the communication plan.
Thank you, Maria. This is our communication plan, which outlines exactly what information needs to be shared with whom, how often, and through what channels. As you can see, we've prioritized bi-monthly updates to key stakeholders like the franchise owner and corporate HQ, and weekly updates to builders, designers, and the marketing team. We've also built in flexibility with as-needed updates for permitting authorities, vendors, and internal teams to stay responsive. Communication is going to be handled mostly through Microsoft Teams, email, and Zoom, and it'll be keeping everyone aligned and informed across every stage of the project. And now we're going to touch base with Sebastian to cover the time phase budget.
Thank you. So here we have our time phase budget chart. And as you can see here, our estimate cost for the entire project is just shy of $110,000, which is right where we want to stay. Primarily, we did a lot of heavy spending in weeks 1 through 3, mainly because we needed to get a lot of the permits. We had a lot of our most expensive employees on call, such as our engineer and our architecture, and a few other things related to construction. Um, and then if we go on to our next slide with our budget line chart, here we can see the planned value or the planned costs for each and every week throughout the entire 8-week time period that this project should take. So if everything goes according to plan, we should stay right under budget, which is right under the $110,000. Thank you so much for listening to us. We're the scooter squad. Ultimately, this plan ensures the right people get the right info at the right time, keeping our project clear, collaborative, and on track. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, we will address them now.